Gear does make the difference. It does matter, but not the way that you think. Check, check, check. Well, good morning. Let's just let her rip, as they say. I've got some tea. It's almost gone. Good morning. Welcome to Adventure in Art. My name is Ben Staley, your resident talking head. I feel like I'm kind of out of the light there. I guess we'll lean in. I kind of want to slouch and get comfortable. Maybe that's because I'm a little uncomfortable talking about gear sometimes. I love gear. I have made a conscious effort not to have a gear-based channel here. It's about creativity. It's about exploration. It's about pushing your own personal limits. But I do love me some gear, and gear is very, very important, and probably not the gear you're thinking of all the time, right? Like, for instance, one thing that I carefully consider every time I go out to shoot, whether it's for an hour or a week or a month, is my footwear, my socks. I'm very selective about the socks I put on. I'm very, very selective about the shoes that I wear depending on where I'm going. Maybe I'm gonna walk around a dry riverbed. I know I'm gonna encounter some water, some sand, some rocks, some rough terrain. I want something with a little ankle support and maybe some waterproofness. I need my boots. Maybe I'm gonna walk around a city for an afternoon. That's fine. I can use some athletic shoes, some running shoes, or some street shoes. So I consider those things very carefully. This jacket that I'm wearing, which I shouldn't really be wearing indoors, but this is one of my favorite jackets. I've had it about a year now. It's a Filson jacket, very tough, waxed cotton, heavy duty. I wear this when I shoot because if it's not too hot out, it's a good winter jacket here in California. But I wear this when I shoot landscapes and in nature because I'm often laying down on the ground. It protects me from sharp edges and rocks and thorns. And it's comfortable, it's rugged. I'm not gonna tear it up. It's cool. Yes, I think it's cool, but it's essential gear for me. Gear isn't just the camera and the lens that you're using. Those are quick decisions, usually, and there they are. But typically, there's a whole host of ancillary gear or gear around those big components that really allow you to operate smoothly, efficiently, comfortably, safely. And oftentimes it's the little things, the accessories that really make the difference. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The first thing is this Wattencraft parachuter strap. Now I've got a couple of these. This is the wrist strap. Maybe y'all saw my video a while back on the Wattencraft backpack that I've been using, and I'm still going strong with it, still using it all the time. Really love it. Well, they reached out and asked me if I want to try out these parachuter, that's right, gotta look at my notes here, parachuter straps. They have wrist straps like this and actual full-on camera straps like this. Whoa, let me do that better. I've honestly been using the wrist strap a ton. These are cool because they have these, they're attached to the camera by these little Peak Design, let me get this out of here, boom, quick release straps. Now these are pretty heavy duty. I've seen these from afar and I always kind of wondered how they work. Well, Wattencraft has teamed up or used Peak Design's little quick releases, and they're heavy duty and they're freaking awesome. So you can have these attached to the camera and then you just either attach the wrist strap or attach the full-on camera strap. What I like about these is they're heavy duty. They're heavy duty paracord, and then this is actually cut and sanded down leather. It's got the Wattencraft logo on it. They actually went the extra mile and stamped my initials in here. Let me be clear, Wattencraft sent me these just to test out. They didn't ask for anything in return. My opinions are my own. I can say anything I want, as I always would in any time. You can't buy my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. So I've been using these for a couple months now. I've got 2 different colors, straps, and then 2 different wrist straps. Surprisingly, the wrist strap has been my go-to, and it's the reason I'm making the video. I love this thing. I've been going on long walks in the mornings and in the afternoons with a camera. I actually might even release a video with some of the photography because I've been carrying a camera and just kind of shooting what I see, what I encounter. Maybe we'll talk about that in a future video because I'm actually excited about the photography that I've been doing, and it's been something that I've been looking forward to doing every couple days. Well, instead of having like a neck strap or a traditional strap, I've just been using this wrist strap and carrying the camera in my hand. I really like it. I like the way it feels. I like that it's leather and it's tough. I like this paracord. I can pull it on and off. I'm using these Lumix cameras nowadays, and I use them for stills and video, so it's nice to be able to just pop the straps off if I want to put it on a tripod and shoot some video, as I'm doing with the S5 II right now. So that's it, folks. Check out the Wattencraft parachuter straps. For me, they're just like that little kind of accessory item that I get a lot of joy out of. Love the leather, love the paracord, love the kind of vintage military inspired design. Really love what Wattencraft is doing with their products. I'll put a link below if you want to check them out on their website. They've got all kinds of colors. The other thing I've been using that I really love is this guy. This is the Freewell V2 Magnetic Hybrid VND. What this is, comes in this cool little case. This is a polarizing filter and a variable ND all in one little unit. You put this on the end of the lens and you spin it and you adjust the polarizing filter to take out the glare, and then you clamp it down and then you adjust the variable ND. It's 3 to 7 stops. Why do you need a variable ND? I use ND filters all the time. I actually use them in my photography quite a bit. Haven't talked about this in the channel, but I use them all the time for video. What does an ND filter do? If you don't know that, we're in trouble. A variable ND or an ND filter cuts the light. This is 3 to 7 stops. It'll cut 3 to 7 stops of light depending on how you adjust it and spin the little dial here. Why would you need to do that? Well, you need it a lot for video, and particularly when you're shooting with a camera with like a log profile like this S5 II, which is filming me right now in Vlog. The lowest ISO I can have is, what is it on there? It's like a 640 is my minimum ISO if I'm shooting in log. I want to shoot in log because I get better dynamic range and I can do the color correction later and I can dial it in how I want. But my ISO is quite high. On top of that, I want to shoot with a low aperture because I want a shallow depth of field. I want the background behind me to go out of focus. And on top of that, I need to have a pretty low shutter, 180 shutter degree angle, which is basically like a 1/48. I'm shooting 24 frames a second. Are you following all this? In order to achieve all that, I need to really cut the light with an ND. So that's what this does, especially if I'm shooting outside in the bright sun like I was yesterday. Went on a little adventure out in the desert. Perhaps you'll see that in a future video. This thing is cool. How it works is it's set for 82 millimeter. If you have a smaller lens, which I do here, then you get like a step-up ring. This screws onto the lens. You screw the step-up ring onto the lens, and then this just attaches via a magnet. Boom, pretty cool. And it's got this awesome little front cap, which will protect your filter. Bing, bing. Being mostly a video shooter, I've used a ton of variable NDs throughout the years. This is actually the coolest little ND system that I've ever used. I really have grown to love this thing. I've been using it nonstop. The thing with a lot of variable NDs is you get this weird like color shifting because it's taking 2 filters and it's moving them around and it cuts the light, and it does throw a color shift on the lens. I haven't seen any evidence of that with this, and the colors come out amazing and just what I would expect. Check this out. I'm going to put a link below. These guys sent me this to try out, but my opinions are my own. I'm making this video because I really, really dig this system. It is a whole system. They have other filters that you can add on to the front via magnet, like this, which was a Pro Mist filter. Now, I was using this out in the desert yesterday all day. When I got home, it was no longer attached to the front of my variable ND. And I'm really bummed out about that because it's they're not inexpensive. They're like $100. And I actually was planning on doing this video, and I was going to demonstrate what a Pro Mist filter will actually do. It softens the light. It adds kind of a diffused glow, and especially if you have hard sources in the frame, it can look really cool. I was using it out in the desert all day yesterday just to kind of give a softer look, but I don't have a before and after or a with or without kind of example to show you, because somewhere out there, probably when I was driving around, I had the camera mounted to the hood of my 4Runner, and I think that the filter must have vibrated and come off when I hit a bump or something. I don't know. All I know is when I came back in the house, it was no longer attached to the front of my lens. This was the Snow Mist filter, and I'm kind of bummed about that. I'm probably going to buy a new one. Freewell V2 Variable ND, super rad. The last thing I want to talk about is what I'm using right now to light me, and that is the Nanlite Pavo Slim light panel. I've got two of these things. Check this out. Let me turn this on. I've had these lights for 2 or 3 months now, and I just love them. Check this out. Boom. These lights have just kind of changed my game here, making videos in the office, and you can attach V-mount batteries to them, so you can take them out in the field off of power. They've got effects. They've got all these colors you can dial in. They've got little diffusion panels and soft boxes. They come in a little box. Check them out. I'll put a link below. They didn't ask me to make this. If you're looking for some cool, relatively inexpensive, simple lighting, check out the Nanlite Pavo Slim lights. There's my gear video. I did it. I got through it. More adventures coming soon. It's a new year. I am gonna have some appearances coming up where I'm doing some photo presentations. The first one is gonna be in Kenmore, Washington, at Kenmore Camera for their 50th anniversary. If you go to the news section on my website, I'll put a link below. I'll put it right here. Go to the news section on my website, and all that info is there if you want to come to one of my presentations. There's also a newsletter you can subscribe to, which I don't ever send anything out, but maybe someday I will if something cool comes up, something extra cool. That's it. Gear, folks, does make the difference. It does matter, but not the way that you think. You know, if you are a filmmaker or a photographer, there's a whole ecosystem of gear that all has to work together. And I hope you've enjoyed this. Let's get back out there and actually get to the business of making stuff, which is what we're all about here. Thanks for watching. See you soon.